Van Dijk delivers again, but it came at a cost, as Wataru Endo leaves the pitch in tears after a horror injury shock. Salah matches another Liverpool record, and questions grow over key decisions behind the scenes. All the drama, all the talking points, right here. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool updates. Virgil van Dijk fires Liverpool to Sunderland win, but injury curse continues. 5 talking points. Sunderland, 0-1, Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk's second-half header was enough to give Liverpool an impressive 3 points on a wet and windy night at the Stadium of Light. Liverpool boosted their Champions League hopes with a hard-fought 1-0 win away to Sunderland. Virgil van Dijk scored the only goal of the game, as the Black Cats were left to lick their wounds after losing their first home game of the season. Arne Slot's side dominated the first half but had nothing to show for it. Florian Wirtz came closest, but the Liverpool Stars' well-worked effort hit the post, much to the relief of the busy Robin Roofs. The second period started with more of the same before Van Dijk's header changed the dynamic. Sunderland went through the gears and put the Reds under pressure in the closing stages, but Régis Lebris's team weren't able to snatch a late equalizer to increase their own chances of qualifying for European. Here are 5 talking points from the Stadium of Light. 1. Needs must for Slot. Although they splurged £449 million in the summer, Liverpool are light on numbers. The Reds' lack of depth in defense has cost them throughout the season, and with makeshift right-back Dominic Szoboszlai suspended for that red card, Slot needed to call on someone from the fringes. In came Wataru Endo, a midfielder by trade, for only his second Premier League start in 2 seasons, and first this term. Joe Gomez was fit enough for the bench, while natural right-back Calvin Ramsey was an option, but Slot chose Endo to plug the most gaping gap in his lineup. 2. Wirtz finding his flow. Wirtz copped plenty of criticism in the months following his £116 million transfer. In an era defined by statistics, you didn't need to go far to find a fan or pundit comparing his underwhelming numbers at Liverpool to his prolific Bayer Leverkusen career. Recently, though, Wirtz looks a lot more settled, especially playing off Hugo Ekitike. The German was Liverpool's bright spark as they dominated the opening 45 minutes here.
Wirtz showed neat footwork to fire off a shot which agonizingly hit the post. That was one of Liverpool's 14 attempts on Sunderland's goal before the break, although just 2 of them were on target and were dealt with by refs. 3. Liverpool's improved set pieces. One of the reasons for Liverpool's woes this season has been their poor record at set pieces. Heading into this round of matches, only Wolves had scored fewer goals from dead balls than the Reds. But after Szoboszlai's free kick against Manchester City and Van Dijk's header at the Stadium of Light, things are improving. Mo Salah's corners was a threat all game, with refs having to punch clear on multiple occasions. In the 61st minute, however, the Dutchman couldn't intervene and was punished by his compatriot. Van Dijk rose highest to meet Salah's delivery, and his header found the net via a deflect off the head of Habib Diarra. 4. Endo's injury continues right-back curse. It was a good response from Sunderland after going behind. The Black Cats immediately started chasing the game and went in search of an equalizer as the crowd roared them on. Although Liverpool staved off the threat, it came at a cost through Endo. The Japan international caught his ankle in the turf while clearing the ball, and despite soldiering on for the resulting corner, he looked in agony and was stretchered off in place of Gomez. 5. Sunderland's fortress breached. With only 6 to go, Sunderland have finally lost a home match in the Premier League. The Stadium of Light has denied the likes of Arsenal and Man City this season, but Liverpool did what they couldn't. Thanks to Newcastle's win on Tuesday, Régis Lebris's side have been bumped down to 11th place. A top-half finish will be their target for the remainder of the campaign. Liverpool star Wataru Endo leaves pitch in tears on a stretcher after horror injury. Liverpool have suffered yet another injury blow after Wataru Endo left the pitch on a stretcher following a worrying-looking leg issue against Sunderland. Wataru Endo left the pitch in tears as he was carried off on a stretcher after suffering a concerning-looking injury during the Reds' clash at Sunderland. The 33-year-old appeared to get his foot stuck in the turf while stretching to clear the ball. He initially got back to his feet and attempted to carry on, but soon collapsed back to the turf in clear discomfort. After a lengthy stoppage, medics placed him onto a stretcher and he was carried off. It's the latest in a long line of injury issues for Liverpool boss Arne Slot, who is already without Connor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong, and Alexander Isak. Endo was covering at right back due to the shortage in that area of the pitch. He was replaced by Joe Gomez, himself returning from an injury. The incident came after Virgil van Dijk had given the Reds the lead on Wearside. The Dutchman headed home from a corner via Habib Diarra, who could only divert the ball into the roof of the net on his own goal line. Endo joined Liverpool in August 2013 for a £16 million fee from German side VfB Stuttgart. He had previously starred in his native Japan and in Belgium. He has 72 caps for his country, who will be hoping the injury does not keep him out of this summer's World Cup in the USA, Canada, and Mexico. Van Dijk's goal was enough to secure all 3 points for the Reds and inflict Sunderland's first home defeat of the Premier League season. It moves Liverpool to within 2 points of Chelsea in 5th and 3 of Manchester United in 4th as they bid to secure a Champions League spot next term. Liverpool passed tests that looked beyond them after finally joining the Premier League revolution. Liverpool verdict from the Stadium of Light as Virgil van Dijk's goal gives the defending Premier League champions a vital 1-0 victory over Sunderland. If you can't beat them, then the best course of action appears to be joining them. Liverpool have been seemingly unwilling to take part in the agricultural revolution taking place in the Premier League this season. But on a cold, wet Wednesday up in Sunderland, it was a scrappy set piece that breathed fresh life into their Champions League hopes. Virgil van Dijk's second-half header, deflected into the roof of the net via Nordi Mukiele, was enough for Arne Slot's side to take full advantage of the opportunity presented to them by the set of results on Tuesday night. After the respective draws of Chelsea and Manchester United, this was a chance that Slot simply could let pass him by, so a first away win since Tottenham Hotspur before Christmas came in an ideal time. The challenge now, having reduced the gap on 4th-placed United to 3 points, is to reel them in further with a consistent run that has eluded the champions all season. A top 4 battle littered with inconsistencies is where Slot finds himself right now. And while there was some factual analysis behind his Tuesday claim that Liverpool are not necessarily a club who relieve managers of their duties if they don't qualify for the Champions League, he needs European Cup participation on his CV as much as the club needs it on the balance sheets. So that's why this 1-0 victory here might prove to be so valuable in the wider picture. The Reds managed to quieten what was a red-hot crowd at kickoff and had the lion's share of the chances in the first half. The excellent Florian Wirtz worked goalkeeper Robin Roths with an effort from 25 yards before the Germany international then struck the post. Too often, however, Liverpool were guilty of poor decision-making or bad execution when they got to the edge of the Black Cats' penalty area. Wataru Endo, in for his start of the Premier League season at right-back, wasted a good opening when his ball across the face of the goal was far too close to the goalkeeper, while Alexis McAllister and Mohamed Salah also saw efforts easily blocked, with the Reds unable to make their dominance in the first period count. Van Dijk gave Liverpool the goal their play deserved after the break when he headed home a corner on the hour mark, and while hearts were in mouths in the away end when 7 minutes flashed up on the 4th officials board, it never really felt like they were going to fritter away points in stoppage time for a 7th time this term. But, like so often this season, the step forward was followed by one in the opposite direction, as Endo became the latest injury casualty. The Japan international appeared to hurt his ankle clearing a dangerous cross around the hour mark and was replaced by Joe Gomez, who returned to the bench after a fortnight out. Liverpool's right-back curse endures, and the failure to bolster the defensive ranks in the January transfer window comes under the microscope once more. The sight of Endo being taken off in clear discomfort with the help of a stretcher was sad to see, and the hope is that it is not as serious as it appeared. It was gutting to see for the away fans who cheered his name as he left, and he'd won all 7 of his duels up until that point. Salah and substitute Curtis Jones both had chances in the dying embers, but their failure to take them, for once, did not come back to bite them. It was no classic, and it won't live long in the memory, but it was a big checkpoint for what is still a new-look Liverpool, developing under Slot. Far too often this season, physicality has proved their undoing, and inability to hold on to results has undercut a team who would be third without 6 stoppage-time collapses. But full credit here, they stood up to the task and refused to wilt against a battling Sunderland side, who have now tasted defeat for the first time this season at this venue. Even Arsenal and Manchester City were held here, so this must be considered a sign of progress.
Steven Gerrard expects Mohamed Salah message after matching Liverpool record for the Reds against Sunderland, setting up the winners scored by Virgil van Dijk in the northeast. Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard says he expects to hear from Mohamed Salah after the Egyptian drew level with him on the number of assists he has provided for the Anfield side in the Premier League. Salah's corner kick in the second half at the Stadium of Light was headed home by Virgil van Dijk, ensuring that Liverpool took advantage of Manchester United and Chelsea slipping up on Tuesday in the race for the Champions League spots. Van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate were excellent at the back, keeping a clean sheet alongside Andy Robertson and Wataru Endo, and while the latter was stretchered off, it was a good outing for Arne Slot's side in terms of the result. Gerrard, speaking as a pundit on TNT Sports, was delighted with the victory and that Salah leveled his assists record in the process. Inevitably, he will be overtaken sooner rather than later, with both currently on 92. "It is brilliant for him," Gerrard said. "He should be going ahead of me tonight. He put a brilliant ball in for Hugo Ekitike at the weekend, and he missed a sitter. I'm sure he'll be disappointed he hasn't gone one ahead, and I'm sure he will remind me." Salah was not particularly effective in open play, but made a telling difference in the second half. The win was a big one for under-pressure Arne Slot, too. "He has so many records for this club, but to have this one combined with such a great player," Slot said of Salah's latest record. "Both were unbelievable players for this club. Unfortunately for Steven, I expect Mo to go above him. I don't expect, but I hope he goes above him." On the game and win in general, Slot added, "Very important. I think we dug deep after only 2 days of rest. Then going to a difficult away game, we showed again how well we can play on the ball. We created so many opportunities today. The character we have shown throughout the whole game was very good, and that is why we leave this place with a 1-0 win. Second half, we had so many good moments, and so many moments where we had quality players in promising positions. The overall performance in terms of work rate was really good."
Richard Hughes' decision haunts Liverpool in Sunderland win. Liverpool have a massive problem, and it's one they should have addressed in January. With Jeremy Frimpong, Connor Bradley, and Joe Gomez injured, Dominic Szoboszlai has been a Reds' go-to at right back for the past few weeks. The Hungarian was suspended for Wednesday night's clash against Sunderland, though, and Arne Slot turned to Wataru Endo to complete his backline. Just after Liverpool took the lead, disaster struck for the Japan international, and he was stretchered off with what appeared to be a serious injury to his lower leg. Gomez was named on the bench and was forced to come on and make his return from injury prematurely. Liverpool facing right-back crisis. Gomez put in a shift at right back after coming on, but the Englishman's injury record isn't pretty, and it is unrealistic to think he will be available for 90 minutes every match for the rest of the season. Szoboszlai will be available to cover now that his suspension has been served, but the Hungarian offers much more to the team playing in the midfield. Liverpool came close to signing defensive cover in the January window when a move for Lucero Gertruda was explored, but the Dutchman remained at Sunderland. No alternative was brought in, and now Liverpool are paying the price. Endo's injury leaves Slot with only 4 senior midfielders to choose from, and it feels like one more injury in the midfield would send the team into absolute crisis. With Chelsea and Manchester United dropping points on Tuesday, Liverpool's win against Sunderland was huge in their pursuit of a place in the Premier League's top four, but there's a long way to go for Liverpool. The Reds' hopes of a top four finish now seem to rest solely on there being no further injuries at right back or in the midfield. But Gomez's history with injuries does suggest things won't be that simple. Liverpool's decision not to sign a right back in January is haunting them now. But supporters will hope it doesn't ruin the rest of their season.